All right, everybody, welcome back to part 6. Welcome back to part 6 of this 5-row box. If you were with us in the last video, you know that we went through this section right here with the dried up rubber band that we left off that was stuck to a puzzle piece and a Stan Belinda 1990 Leaf card. And that's what we went through in the first part of this row in the last video, which was 1990 Leaf. We came across some really cool cards, some players that I hadn't seen, or some cards I should say that I hadn't seen in 35 years, like a Ricky Henderson and a Gary Sheffield and the Canseco and the McGuire. And then we came across the non-autographed versions of the Ramon Martinez cards. So we came across a few nice cards. Oh, and that Bo Jackson one too was nice. So today we're gonna jump into the second half of this 5-row, and we are gonna come across this little stack of 1991 Topps. And as you see here, we have the instant win game, the redemption, which I don't know if anybody ever sent these back in. I know I never did. I don't know if my grandmother ever did, because we ended up with so many of these. Have no idea. Was it a scam? Could we try to get some sort of instant win if we send them in now? What's the expiration date on these? I don't know. But if you look closely, this is the 40-year anniversary of Topps baseball, as you see here in the left-hand corner. That was 35 years ago. And now here we are opening the 2026 Topps baseball, and it says 75. Just think, 35 years have passed. I can't believe that. It's been 35 years. Where has my life gone? Like really, where has it gone? It's been 35 years since I opened these packs of cards. And here we are for the first time going back through this box in which all of these cards are 35 years old. And I'm looking at them basically for the first time since then. So let's start. Let's get into it. Here we go. Leading things off is outfielder for the Boston Red Sox, Mike Greenwell, who was kind of a big deal in the early 90s from the mid to late 80s, right? Greenwell was kind of a good player back then. Not going to say he wasn't. So right off the bat, there's Julio Franco, the ageless wonder. Right off the bat, you're going to notice the design, and you're going to notice how at that time, the design was, it was different from what we had seen in the previous years with Topps. Some people say it was a horrible design. Some people say it was new, it was cool. Look at Don Zimmer. Some people like it, some people don't. I liked it as a kid. I never thought twice about it. Ron Gant, look at that. Look how off-center that is, left to right, off-centering. That's a very off-centered card. Anyways, nobody was tripping off centering. Nobody was tripping off grading. Nobody was tripping off PSA 10, Beckett 9.5, tag, none of that. Nobody cared. No one was tripping off that. 1991, you were just trying to collect your favorite players, like David Cohn at the time, or like Bo Jackson, or like Jose Canseco, or Ricky Henderson, or Griffey Jr. Nobody was tripping off the grade. Nobody was tripping off of what you can sell them for if you bought them at this price. 80% of this, 80% of that. Look at this horizontal Lee Smith. That's nice. I will say this, however. I will say this. 1991 Topps, hella feels like cardboard. It kind of looks like cardboard only because of the fact that it's not a high gloss card. It's a low gloss card, we'll say. Look at the rookie cup for Hal Morris. Rookie cup winner, Hal Morris. Andre Dawson, the Hawk. So I will say, Terry Steinbach, Ozzie Guillen. I will say that these cards very, very much feel like some 1990, 1991 Topps. These hella feel cardboard. But I'll be the first to say, maybe not the first, I guess, but I'll just go out there and say it. I actually really like these growing up. And now, even looking back on them, these aren't bad. Look at the Future Star design. Look at the Future Star design. They changed it. They switched it up for 1991. And Jose Offerman at the time was definitely a future star in the making, yet unfortunately didn't have the career that lived up to it, sadly. Dave Stewart, look at that photo from behind home plate, 1991. That's a cool card, from behind home plate. Craig Biggio, what year would this be for him? Oh yeah, he did play in the late 80s, my bad. So there you go. Craig Biggio, 91. Tim McIntosh, future star again. Some of these players just don't have the career that people were hoping for whatever reason. One reason or another, they didn't pan out, right? That's the odds, man. And that's just the reality. Here we go. Next stack. Again, these look like cardboard, but they hella feel like cardboard. Eric Davis, we've seen this card before, right? We pulled that card in a different reveal, as you would say. Dale Murphy, could be, would be, should be Hall of Famer. Look at this Roger Clemens card. This is actually a really cool card. Not gonna lie. This is actually a really, really cool card. Photographed against the Green Monster, next to the strikeout sign. How legendary is that? Next to the strikeout sign at Fenway Park, the Green Monster. That's a cool card. Mark Newfield, #1 draft pick. Dennis Martinez at Presidente. Alvin Davis, Chuck Finley. Yeah, Chuck Finley was that dude for a few years. Him and Mark Langston. Yeah. Ben McDonald, 91. Remember, 1990, he had that iconic 90 Topps draft pick card. Jose Rijo, the Oakland A's bats killer from the 90 World Series. Destroyed him. Kurt Miller on the 91 draft pick. Kirk Gibson, the 88 A's killer with the home run off of Eckersley. Bobby Valentine. Pendleton. Eddie Whitson on the horizontal card. That's a cool picture from behind home plate again. Looks like they were getting very, what's the word? They were taking risks. Topps photographers were taking risks in 91. Oh, look at that. I think we've seen this card before, but every time I see it, I love it. I love this card. 1991 Robin Ventura Rookie Gold Cup. I love this card. I love this card because he's wearing the throwback White Sox uniform. And it's the Gold Cup. The Rookie Cup. Kevin Apier, the pride and joy of Lancaster, California. Rookie Gold Cup winner. Remember, I have those Topps 90 Topps. Yeah, I have the 90 Topps autograph Kevin Apier cards that we looked at before. Look at this Wade Boggs photo from the ground up. That's a trip. Look at the cloud formation behind him. That is a wild card. That's a wild card. Wild photography. I'm telling you, they were taking risks. 1991 Topps. They were taking risks. I like it. It's a different look. Different look. Delino with the Gold Cup. Delino with the Rookie Cup. I like it. 1, 2 of those. We'll take 2. Absolutely. That's a cool card. Stump Merrill. Why they call him Stump? That's kind of disrespectful. Like real talk. That's kind of disrespectful. Rick Sutcliffe, I believe, is a Hall of Famer. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Right? Let's move on to the next stack. Let's see what else are we going to find in this cardboard feeling 91. All right, now we're going into some cards that we've seen before in, I believe, 1 or 2 other videos with the All-Star cards. So these are your All-Star inserts. Doug Drabeck, Barry Larkin, Eddie Murray. Oh yes, Bob Welch. There's Griffey. There's Griffey Jr. We've seen this card once before or twice before. Oh, Ricky. Run, Ricky, run. Greatest of all time. So we've got the Griffey Jr., we've got the Ricky, we've got the Cecil Fielder All-Stars, so we'll put those off to the side as well. Maggie Sasser, Jim Leyritz, manager of the Pirates at the time. Let's see, who else? Gold Cup winner, Felix Jose. Okay. Tim Raines, also known as Rock. Joe Torre, manager of the Cardinals, before he went to the Yankees and won several World Series championships with the Yankees. Nice horizontal. Oh, look who else was a Rookie Gold Cup winner. That's right. Rookie of the Year in 1990, in fact. David Justice. Very nice. We'll take 2. Absolutely. Brett Butler. This is an interesting situation. This is the curious case that I have of Brett Butler. Should he be a Hall of Famer? Should Brett Butler be a Hall of Famer? He was a great on-base batter. He hit for average. He got on base. He would score. He would steal bases. Good defensive player. Should he be a Hall of Famer? That's my question. We know this man's a Hall of Famer. Roberto Alomar. Charlie Hayes sighting. Charlie Hayes. Mike Scioscia. Rafael Palmeiro. Should Brett Butler be a Hall of Famer? There's Grissom. There's the other half of that duo. Larry Sheets, Saberhagen. Saberhagen was a killer too. Great pitcher for a few years. Jim Deshaies. Schwan Dunston. Mike Devereaux. Another dependable player. There's our Hall of Famer again, Barry Larkin. Ron Gant with another one. Another Ron Gant in the 91. All right, moving right along. Man, I wish y'all could feel the cards. If you've never held a pack of 1991, 1990, 89 Topps, 88 Topps. If you've never held a pack of baseball cards from the mid to late 80s, early 90s, and probably even earlier than that, and you've never actually touched them, like ever, physically made contact with the cardboard, I urge you to do so. I urge you to do so. Please do that for yourselves. Devon White, another reliable player. John Kruk, because I think you will have an appreciation for the quality of cards as they are today if you were to actually physically make skin to card contact with these cards. You might really understand why they call this cardboard. Cards just felt different. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. Ooh, this Eddie Murray has a stain on the back. That's nasty. That is nasty. Maybe it was from the gum. Another Craig Biggio card. Another Craig Biggio. Otis Nixon. Jaime Navarro. Mike Witt. We know that's the father-in-law, I believe. No, uncle of Bobby Witt Jr. Presidente. Look at Sparky. The legendary manager himself, Sparky Anderson. There's Ernie Witt, but not related. Spelled differently. All right, we're down to the last, we'll say 3 stacks. All right. Back to Gibson. Looks like we got quite a few of the repetitive cards. Mike Lieberthal, another one in the #1 draft pick. So it's looking like we ended up with quite a few. Looks like I opened a lot of packs of 91. There he is. I knew we were going to come across at some point. There's Sammy Sosa in the throwback. Some more All-Stars. Julio Franco, Bobby Bonilla, Fisk. We've seen some of these cards already in the past in some of the other videos that we revealed and looked back on that time. Frank White. Greg Vaughn. Look at that Greg Vaughn card. We know he had a pretty good career in the mid to late 90s. There's David Justice again in the Rookie Gold Cup. Ron Kittle. Is there a relationship between Ron Kittle and Greg Kittle? I don't know. I wonder if they're related somehow. I'm curious. Curious to know. Or sorry, George Kittle. I said Greg Kittle. The heck was I thinking? There he is. There's Jim Abbott. Got 2 of them. We'll take 2. Yeah, is there a relationship between Ron Kittle, the former professional baseball player, and George Kittle, the current San Francisco 49ers player? That's what I want to know. Are they related? Hensley Mullins. So it's looking like, oh, there's another Eckersley in the green pullover. Like it was spring training or something. Look at that Tom Gordon horizontal. Very nice. So yeah, we have a lot of the cards. Darren Lewis. Spent a little bit of time with the Oakland A's. We have a lot of the same cards that we saw in a previous reveal several videos back from the 1991. And now that we know that these are the 75-year anniversary cards for this year's Topps, it makes these a little more special. Steve Avery. That might be a rookie card, right? No, maybe it's a second-year card. Alfredo Griffin. Juan Gonzalez, second-year card. Brian McRae. Remember, his dad was a manager as well and played professionally. Hal McRae. So yeah, knowing that this is the 75-year, 35-year anniversary card, it makes these a little bit more special. But I'll tell you this, opening a pack of this 2026 Topps and seeing the anniversary cards, they feel different. Look at Darryl Strawberry. They feel so different than they did 35 years ago. They definitely do not feel like rough cardboard. They're definitely card stock. There's La Russa, Hall of Fame manager. Carlton Fisk, about to make a play at the plate. Look who's about to, I don't know, man. That you better make a business decision, Pudge. That is a business decision waiting to happen. You've got Cecil Fielder weighing in over 300 pounds. Carlton Fisk weighing in over 200 pounds. late in his career, are you going to make a play at the plate and get steamrolled by this huge locomotive? You better think twice. Harold Baines, Hall of Famer, you better think twice. Sandy Alomar Jr. in the Rookie Gold Cup. Wow, he was already traded to the Indians. Only spent 1 year with the Padres. Yeah, you better make a decision. There's Ozzie Canseco, Jose Canseco's younger brother. You got to make a business decision. I don't know if I'm getting in front of that 300-pound plus locomotive. Palacios Baerga, second year. Again, this is 91. Oh, wow. Look who's not smiling. Look who's not smiling. Henderson, what is going on? This is like the one time you are not smiling in a baseball card. What's happening? That was the one day Henderson was probably just not having a good day. Every other card, that man is smiling. Fred McGriff, look at that card. Crime Dog. I don't think I'd seen that card before. At least I don't remember. At least I do not recall at all. Ozzy. Got a few of those. Who else we got? What card are you looking for? Paul O'Neill. What card are you looking for? Who are you looking for? Carl Everett, first round draft pick. Are you looking for a Griffey Jr.? Looking for a Nolan Ryan? You're looking for a Barry Bonds. There's Tartable. Maybe that Bo Jackson. Here's Glavine. Or maybe a Frank Thomas. We know about that 1990 Frank Thomas no-name famous error card. But here's the 91 Frank Thomas. Very nice card too. Shane Andrews, Worthington, Junior Ortiz, Ellis Burks, or maybe you're looking for this guy, Gary Sheffield, with his pack of chewing tobacco back there in his back pocket. Straight nasty. Just nastiness. Bob Welch on the base. Will Cam Boyd. Sabo. Daly. And look who it is. Greg Maddux. Still with the Cubs at that time. Looks like we have two of those. All right, we'll take two Greg Maddux. I don't think I've seen those ones either. I don't remember pulling that in any of the other boxes that we've looked at already. Last couple cards. Who are we gonna find? Record breaker Bobby Thigpen, record breaker Ryan Sandberg, and that's it. So we're gonna finish off with those record breakers. Well, everybody, only one Ken Griffey Jr. card in that whole half of a row, which was the All-Star card. Only one. Got the Frank Thomas, got the Canseco, got the Maddux, got a few, right? Got a few cards that we know are notable players and Hall of Fame players. Here's a few to just kind of look back on, right? From Maddux to Glavine. And then you got some Hall of Famers like Ozzie Smith, Fred McGriff. And then, of course, Sandy Alomar Jr., not a Hall of Famer, but maybe should be. Same as Strawberry, same as Gonzalez. So, David Justice. So yeah, we have a few. There's a few in here. If you're interested in any of these cards, as I say usually, let me know. Get at me. Do any of these call your name? Do these interest you? Are you looking to build your junk wax era, but not junk e-cards sets? Are you looking to complete sets? Or are you just collecting? Let me know. If you're interested, let's make a deal. So that brings us to the completion of 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5 rows, which means we have this one right here left. And I think what we're gonna do is in part 7, because this is part 6, in part 7, we are going to dive into definitely this first. What the hell? See, man? Gosh, dang it. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not paying attention to the cards. Look, if you saw it on camera, I'm not faking the funk. This card was sitting just like this, and it was held up there because of all the cards. God dang it. I thought I was done with this video, man. And right when I touched this, the card fell. Bloop. You know what card that is. You know what card that is. So we're gonna take a look at this first little stack before the paper, and we'll probably get up through, let's say through here, at least, and maybe through the rest of the white. Okay, for sure through the rest of the white. The white back border, maybe, no, let's do that. So these are the black bordered of the 91 score. Let's get through this first section right here in part 6. Sorry, in part 7. Part 7, and then we'll get through this in part 8, right there. And then we will do this part in part 9. So it's gonna be a 9-part series. I knew it was gonna be at least 6, but it's gonna be close to 10. And I kind of figured that. All right, so that's what we'll do. But before we do that, look at that card right there. We're gonna lead off in the next video with that card. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again. I appreciate it. This was a long one. I apologize about that, but I'll see you in the next video, y'all. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, Multi-Gen Collectibles. Peace out, everyone.